Hey, you guys, happy Tuesday. This is Walk Away Wealthy, formerly known as Anything But Average. I am Trisha Turner, and we're here every week to bring you some business owners that are killing it in their industry. They're here to share some success secrets, how to make extra money, because we all need to be making extra money, and some ways to help you improve your life. So today I got two with me. I got Harley and Gigi. Hey, guys.
Hello.
How you doing?
Awesome, you guys. So Gigi's going to have to jump off early, so I'm going to kind of go through our format a little bit. You know, we've been doing this our third year running now every week, and we are here to help people because as the world continues to get weird, we got to bring positivity to the world, and we got to help you guys always live in abundance. And so Harley is in real estate with me, in addition to a lot of other things that he does. And then Gigi is in solar panels. And so I want to kind of start with talking to Gigi because he's got to jump off early. And there's a lot of talk about solar panels right now. I'm in Texas. And so before we kind of get into that conversation and anything with Harley, Gigi, can you kind of give us a little bit of your backstory, where you are in the world, what you do for a living, and how long you've been doing it?
Yeah, so first of all, thank you for having me. So my name is Gal Gigi Goffer. I'm a top mentor in the solar industry for the past 10 years or so, give or take. I'm originally from Israel, where I don't know if a lot of people know, but over there, the cost of energy is about almost 10 times more than a few states in the US. So, you know, when you come from there, you're really kind of aware of how much of an impact you can do for people with solar energy, clean energy. And, you know, I think in our industry, I've been, again, almost 10 years in the industry, and it's amazing to see where we were 10 years ago when it was just an idea and people still didn't know too much about it, compared to this past week where the new bill just passed the Senate, the climate bill. And I think really in the next 3 months, every single person we know is going to hear the word solar in some context or another, right? So we're in a great timing for anything that has to do with solar, clean energy. And I think it's so important for so many people to learn not just how to save money, but how they can tap into it as well and grow with that as well.
Okay, so I'm going to stop you right there because a lot of people, everyone hears this chatter about solar panels depending on where you are in the world. I'm in Texas, and so, you know, there's 3 different grids, and Texas has their own grid, which is always being threatened because we clearly don't know what we're doing here, it seems. And so there's a lot of people calling their homeowners about solar panels. And then there's a lot of homeowners that have this belief that the solar panels get on your roof that really don't help you save money on your electric bill. You're still paying an electric bill. So let's kind of start there, misconceptions, and how can we address that and help the homeowners really understand what power does and solar panels do.
Absolutely. And, you know, I'm from right now, Orlando, Florida. You're in Texas. We are in about 18 different states that I can safely tell you that it saves money. But what I love that you're coming from is, first of all, understanding, right? Having an informed idea of what solar is. And I think that's what I would recommend for any homeowner that is even thinking remotely about solar is, you know, get informed. And I promise you, in most cases, you'll see that it does save you money. And it gives you a great benefit for your home. It gives you a great benefit for really anything to do with energy. So if we think about it in the simplest way, all solar customers, by definition, have one commonality: they're homeowners. So in the simplest form, think about, why do you own a home? You want to have equity. You want to step out of having to rent your home because, you know, in 10 years from now or in 5 years from now, that rent is not going to cost the same, right? Same thing happens with utility, only it's so much worse, right? I mean, how many states do we know today that we can say 10 years ago, the utility cost was the same? The answer is zero, right? Yeah. The cost always goes up. If you think about, you know, Florida Grid, where we have Duke Energy, Florida Power and Light, these utility providers are only increasing their rates. And, you know, you think about Texas, you got the Texas freeze that we all had, rolling outages, and still the rates are only increasing. You know, and if you look at it, I started in California 10 years ago, and in California, the rate back then was about 18 cents a watt. Now it's 40 some.
That's crazy.
So it's insane, right? Think about those numbers. And the thing is, without a doubt, all of the different states are following suit. I mean, at the end of the day, those utilities are increasing their prices, and it's really a matter of question of, do you prefer to just let them continue, whether you're centralized or decentralized like in Texas, but at the end of the day, you're with a utility, you're renting your electricity, or nowadays, especially with this new bill that passed, you have the ability to own your own energy and create yourself the value that you need from electric usage as well.
Okay, so you being in it almost 10 years, you know clearly a lot about solar. What have you seen change in the last 10 years for the better or for the worse?
Great question. So first of all, one of the main things is awareness, because the more awareness there is of solar, the better the industry is getting. The difference between 10 years ago and now is insane. You know, back in the days, 10 years ago, you would have door knockers knock on the door and promising the world, installing 5 panels, and people would expect to never have a bill. And unfortunately, again, that's what happens when an industry just starts. There's a lot of misinformation out there. And again, that's why I love that you're coming here and saying, look, get informed, understand the basic details of solar, and you'll see why it makes so much sense. So nowadays, not only you have better equipment, better materials, better value that you get from the system, but you also have lenders that makes it easy. You can finance a solar system for 25 years at 1.49, 1.99 interest. You're literally locking yourself in to own your own energy, and you're paying less from day one than what you're paying today. I mean, how many people have the ability today to say, I'm going to save money from day one and I don't have to pay for it? I don't have to actually pay more for it per day, per month, right?
So do people still have an electric bill? I think that is a huge, a debate. You hear about this constantly.
Yeah, so let me take away a couple of the biggest misconceptions out there. The first one being, yes, you still have an electric bill. You're going to be connected into the grid. As always, the difference is that the power you are actually using is coming from your solar system rather than from the utility grid. So the cost per energy to use is actually a much lower cost because you own your own energy. But it still works with something called net metering, which is basically the way you're connected to the grid. Instead of just using power from them, you're actually using it from solar, and that solar system is going to trade back and forth with the utility provider to make sure that you can use that power that you create during nighttime and then summer versus winter as well.
Okay. So another thing we've talked about, I'm here, of course, because now we're involved with solar with you. So there's a lot of conversations going on in the states that are colder. They have the long winters. You don't get a lot of sun. Is that impactful to the solar panels?
So, that's a great question. There are so many different states that you would think don't have the best solar potential. But at the end of the day, some of those states, what they do is they actually offer added incentives because the state itself wants to go more on clean energy. So, for example, last year, and I love that conversation back then, last year, everybody told me, oh, you're in Florida, that's the best state for solar. But it was actually not, because Massachusetts, which doesn't get the same amount of sun, was #1 state for solar at the time, simply because it had the best incentives from the state. So, any way you look at it today, the question is solar energy the future of energy that we'll know, not just from our side as far as a need or a desire, but now from the government side as well? And the answer as of this week is by no other means yes, yes, and yes. The question is, are you going to align with that and make sure that you save money on your energy, add value to your home, knowing that everyone are going to go solar, or are you going to stay with a grid that, simply put, fails us? And we can see that throughout the last, 50, 100 years.
Yeah. My thoughts are, and this is before this even bill passed, was that because I know what happened here in Texas when we had the freeze and we had no electricity and no one could get electricity. It was crazy. I believe, as you can consider like all the building that's going on, they're still building apartment complexes like crazy. They're still building housing like crazy. So if our grid is already threatened 2 to 5 years from now, what does that mean? I believe the government's going to end up getting involved and it's going to be mandated. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, look at California, where 10 years ago it was, just kind of a statement, we're going to go towards clean energy, and now it's mandated, right? Now every new home has to have solar. Look at Florida, South Miami finally started with a mandate about a couple of years ago where every home needs to have solar. And it's going to go more and more, and it's going to spread out everywhere. But it's exactly that point that you're talking about, is the fact that the grid is failing. We see that in California, we see that in Texas, we see it in so many different areas. And what a lot of people don't realize is the more adoption of clean energy, the better it is for the government as well. It helps the grid, it helps supply more energy throughout, and that's all through that net metering process. So the best part about it is you're going to see more and more incentives, more and more value for people to go solar, because it helps all sides as well. It's a win-win-win situation.
So probably everybody that's paying attention doesn't know about this tax bill. So let's talk about that so we can kind of educate them. Can you go over that briefly as well?
Yes, and I'll just say for the people that are still reading about it that no, it is not fully approved yet, but knowing the House and where it's going and the fact that it already passed Senate, it's about 99% there. And the moment that it is, there's going to be a few major changes. The main part is everybody probably heard lately that the tax credit is reducing to 22% next year and then eliminating altogether. Well, that bill is going to change that. The bill is really putting an emphasis towards making sure that there's more adoption of clean energy to help with climate. That's why it's called the climate bill. But at the end of the day, what it does is it raises the tax credit that you would get for clean energy back to 30%, like it's been a couple of years ago. And not only that, it extends it for another 10 years. In other words, the government just said, we want you to start advancing to clean energy products, and the best product you have out there, the best efficiency, the best results. And the best way to get it, by the way, is now, and that's with solar. So you're really looking at the best opportunity.
So people act when there's money involved. Everyone's more open to doing something when they're being paid for it, with these incentives. So that everyone's being incentivized for it. I also have heard some throwing these hard questions at you because we're getting them all the time because we're involved in this with you now. So what about when people sell their homes? So of course, Harley and I are in real estate. So we talk to homeowners all the time. They're like, I'm thinking about solar panels, but I'm also thinking about selling my house in a year or two. So therefore, I don't think I would qualify, or it doesn't interest me. What say you on that?
Great question. So I hear that from realtors and from homeowners every day, right? It's, well, I'm not sure how much is the home value going up. I'm not sure how much value it adds to me. What if I move? There's answers to all of it. The simple answer, though, first of all, as far as value, is think about it this way. Not only it's going to be the status quo in the next 20, 30 years for every home to have solar, but more important, or every home that qualifies. But in any case, think about it this way. If you have your home and another home identical to yours exactly right by you, and the only difference between them is that one of them has a $200 average monthly bill and one of them doesn't, which one has more value for the next homeowner? And how much you can quantify that value? And in this question, it's simply put, $200 a month difference every single month for the next 30, 40 years. But it gets better because you also, if you will, calculate the price increases of the utility rates that homeowner with a $200 bill is going to continue to suffer, because that's going to continue to happen. So at the end of the day, the actual value you're creating is not just quantifiable, but it's very easy to see the difference when you're saying, well, in this home, you simply wouldn't have that cost of an electric bill that's $200, $300 every month. And we're all seeing huge bills. I mean, we just had one of the hottest weeks in the past few years, just about a week ago. I know you guys felt it in Texas, and we felt it in Florida, that's for sure. So.
I just opened an $858 electric bill. I was like, this is out of control.
Exactly. Right.
That's crazy. And on an energy efficient house, like I'm feeling for the people that live in older homes where they're not energy efficient. They are really feeling the electric bill. And we're all like, this inflation has been out of control. So it's like these poor people that are on fixed incomes as well, like look at your electric bill doubling and tripling. It's just not right. We got to put a stop to this somehow. And this is a way for sure. So are the panels then, I had another question asked of me yesterday. If you have the panels on a roof and the roof needs repair, is there a way to work around that?
So great question. And again, keep in mind that this is construction. And when construction is very much out there and already done in a very well format, in a professional format, you're going to have a way to do anything you need. These questions are something that we get every single day for the past 10 years and more, right? So first of all, if you have a roof that needs replacement soon, we're probably going to offer you to replace that with solar, and there are benefits to that as well. But again, that's the bottom line of being informed, going over the details and making sure you do solar the right way. No pun intended, but that's why we're, as a team, called Leading Solar Right. It's about doing things the right way. On the other hand, though, just to understand, if you do have solar already and you need to replace your roof, let's say in about 5 or 10 years, there is a cost to remove and then reinstall the panels, just like any labor or any construction. But at the end of the day, if you calculate that cost versus how much you're saving versus the utility provider, that's a no-brainer of a cost. It's almost like in Florida, we have an added insurance for bigger systems, which you have nowhere else. But at the end of the day, that cost of the insurance is nothing compared to the amount of savings you get when you go solar versus Duke Energy, for example, which is about 18, 19 cents a watt almost.
Yeah, that's what it is here now. People go on like powertochoose.com and you can look at 12, 15, 17 different providers, but their ranges are all between like 17 and 23 cents a kilowatt. It's out of control. Like I look at my $850 electric bill, and when I run the numbers on a solar panel, it's like $422 a month. And that's buying batteries. Like for people that don't want to buy batteries, like you said, it's like $200 a month.
Yep, exactly.
It's a no-brainer. It's a real easy way to help yourself stay on a budget,
Yeah, and one thing I want to mention there is, look, when you go to buy a home, you go to a realtor, right? Because they know the industry, they know to tell you what to do and what not to do. And that's my best advice is for anyone that's looking for solar, go to professionals like Harley, like yourself, like myself, that would really explain the whole process and would give you the right details. For example, the Texas grid in itself really requires a level of knowledge to tell you which utility to work with, to tell you which one has the best solar rates, to make sure that you get the best system for you with batteries, without batteries, and really make sure that it gives you the best value. I always tell people, I'm not in the business of spending you money, I'm in the business of saving you money. So a lot of people tell me, oh, I want batteries, and my mission is to make sure they understand whether they actually need it or not, and to be able to make an informed decision. That's really everything you need to know about solar. Solar will make sense as long as you can go to a professional, work with them, and get an informed proposal that you can make an informed decision.
I love it. Going back just a few years, not even 10 years, say 5 years, the cost of solar, have you seen that increase, decrease, or stay the same?
Definitely decreased.
Okay.
Definitely decreased, which is a great sign for all of us. I think we kind of reached this peak right now in both efficiency and the level of effectiveness that solar panels has. I would throw out there a little bit of an urgency because on one hand, yes, we are getting the tax credit. On the other hand, like you said, it's been a crazy world the last couple of years. Mortgage rates going up, the Fed raising their rates, and that means also that unfortunately any type of financing is also going to raise rates. And we have seen with supply chain, with a few different things, we have seen increases in price. I know that the tax credit is going to help, but the best way I can mention this, go solar as soon as possible to really make sure you maximize your savings. You don't want to wait until the storm, because honestly, you're going to have we have 86 million homes that qualify for solar, and they all just heard that they should go solar. What do you think is going to happen?
Yeah. Get in and get involved, right?
Exactly.
And you guys, Gigi's been doing this, like you said, almost 10 years. Gigi, are you in an office every day? Are you running around like a lunatic? Give us a little bit of backstory about your life.
Well, this is really why I'm so elated to work with people like yourself, with Trisha, with Harley, because I work from home. First of all, this is literally in my house right here. My dog is my boss, I always tell people, and she's laying here watching me work. But one thing that I want to tell everyone, and this is a huge sign, and the fact that we're all smiling. If you work in a 9-to-5 job and you're feeling like, I work with this manager, with this boss, and all that, and I've been there. I've worked in every single type of job you would ever think. I'm ex-military. I've been literally in every different type of job that you can figure out. And clean energy not only is started in a way that you can help people every day, which doing something for purpose feels amazing. I know you guys as realtors do it too. So it feels amazing. I know that much. But another thing is, I always tell people, and it's almost kind of like hearing it myself. I love it. I am blessed to be able to be very selective with the people I work with today because of how great this industry is, because it connects the right people. And for me, I found Harley, and Harley is a guy that doesn't want to just sell solar. He wants to make sure his homeowners are happy long term, right? That they can refer more people saying, "Oh, you should go to Harley. He's your guy," right? And same thing with you, Trisha. So the best thing I can say there, if you ever thought for a moment that you want to do something that feels better, that has better benefits, that has better idea of how to work. I mean, again, I don't want to sound too bad, but half of my day I work from my inflatable office in the pool, literally. But that's the truth, and my homeowners know it too, is the fact that, look, I love what I do. I get to help people every day. I do it from home, and I do it all from my laptop and my phone. And this is an open invitation to anyone that just heard how much this industry is going to blow up, to the fact that you can be a part of it too. All you got to do is know homeowners as a starting point. We'll train you on everything else. We have some of the best trainers out there like you guys, and you can do that all from home. I mean, it's positioning, right? It's being a part of the future, and it's making sure that you can do it in the best way possible. I love this because I get to spend time with my family, and I get to make great friends and colleagues like you guys. So.
Yep. And you guys, before we let Gigi go, if you think, oh my gosh, I'm sure this costs a fortune to get involved, it doesn't. Like, yes, you have to be certified because you do need to know what you're doing with solar panels and how to talk to people. But Gigi, can you walk them through like how much it costs to get certified and begin this whole process?
Absolutely. So first of all, there's really two separate paths. And Trisha, I know you can connect them with whatever needed after, but there are two separate paths for people that already are fully working something else. You don't have the time, but homeowners and you want to refer them to Trisha, to Harley. All you got to do is you can go as an ambassador. That's a free portal where you can submit leads, people that you know. And Trisha and Harley and myself will go and work with them to make sure they get the best solar system out there. And that's a promise. That's more important than the $1,000 you're going to get for every person that's installed, is the fact that we're going to make sure they get the best damn service out there, best quality, and most importantly, they're going to be happy because of your referral. So that's one path. And then if you want to really go all in, be a part of the solar industry, learn how to sell or even learn how to work with us in a more robust way, be able to really tap into the industry full-time, stock options, the whole thing. Certification costs $85 a month to have our platform, and then $99 one time to create your account. And that's it. And my best advice to anyone that understands this is, if I could have been one of the first people to plug into Amazon and be a business in Amazon and get stock options from Amazon when they just got started, I would be very happy, right? I'm sure you would too. Think about it. So if you're looking at being a part of the next 20, 30 years of energy, doing it in a way that's very passionate, very purposeful, and you get to help your friends and family, not with a clothing discount when you work in a clothing store, but with actually saving them money on their electric, you would probably want to look into working in solar with us. And again, we'll help you in everything you need: training, getting started, finding the first homeowners to go solar with, and making sure they're happy as well.
I love it. Super informative, you guys. I know Gigi's got to jump off, but I'm grateful for him. I'm grateful that Harley introduced us all. I'm like never a skeptic about anything. I'm always open-minded, and it's like I'm paying attention to all kinds of things. And it's like when I see things changing in the world, if we can do something about it, we need to, and so I'm super excited about the future for all of us. Thank you for being here today, Gigi.
Of course. And if you don't mind, I want to throw last 2 seconds that are important there. It's important to follow the right people. Your network is your net worth. We all know it. And this is an open invitation for anyone that's here right now to look at the screen. And you have Trisha, you have Harley, but you have Trisha's phone number there as well, right? That's her phone number. Yeah. And my best advice is, if you're thinking about it, even for a moment, whether it's to go solar to save money for your home, whether it's to get started to work in this industry, then you should reach out today. Don't wait, because there's going to be a wave that's coming right now in the clean energy. And the best thing you can do is to align yourself from the start, whether you're a homeowner, whether you're looking for a better job, whether you're looking to be a part of the future. You are one phone call away right there, and the numbers in front of your eyes. So if you ever considered of, maybe I should do a change, maybe I should do something different, pick up the phone and shoot a text over. That's worth it. Trisha, thank you so much for having me.
No, thank you, Gigi. You're awesome. Harley,
Thanks,
holy
Gigi.
crap.
Hey.
You guys, I want to tell you a little bit about Harley, and then I'm going to let Harley tell you a little bit about himself too. So we are both in real estate. We both are with EXP. This is one of the greatest wonders of EXP is that you get to meet people across the nation, across the world. Actually, we collaborate together all the time, and then opportunities just fall into your lap. So Harley, let's give everybody a little bit of backstory about you, like where you are in the world, how long you've been in real estate, and kind of how you got introduced to Gigi.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate it. And yeah, I'm in the DC area, Fairfax specifically. So Northern Virginia, DC, Maryland. That's my hub, if you will.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm with EXP. The nice thing about EXP and this solar company, Power, both of them, is that they're pretty open platform. So they go across state lines quite nicely. Like Gigi was saying, they're in 18 plus states. They're going into Puerto Rico here next too. EXP, 22 different countries and 50 states. I got started in real estate in 2005 as a lender. Got licensed as an agent in 2007, and ran a brokerage team out of Seattle for a number of years, and got into the whole EXP thing through my coaching group that we're both in with NAEA and Jay and Mike, and we really like the model itself with EXP, just because it was it's an answer to a question that we all had for the longest time in our group, was just and Jay said it really good, like how do we take all of our little fires and put them together to make one big fire, and that camaraderie and helping out, that model has proven to be just a game changer and disruptor in the real estate space.
Yep.
And now the numbers speak for themselves. EXP is number one by agent count, number one by transaction sides, and as of last year is number 4 in volume. However, I think that's just because we had such a hockey stick growth that just hasn't caught up yet. So so I'm sure the volume will be there too.
It's the next thing.
It's the next thing. Yeah. So so I was really happy to see this as and I call it as a bolt-on to your real estate business, or really a lot of different professions. I mean, we just happen to be in real estate. We're constantly talking to homeowners.
Yes.
So it just made a lot of sense that when you think about it, your real estate turn down, which is essentially like, hey, would you like to sell your home? No, I'm going to stay here forever. Well, now we have a follow-up with that. Like, hey, well, how would you like, to save some money on your electric bill? Let me get you a quote for solar. And it really is a win-win, because, not only are we in a great company, a great system, and have the ability to get everything that we can at everything that we got, which is something that, that we learn as sales professionals to do, and to do those kinds of cross sales and to have multiple streams of income. Those are always really great things to have. At the same time, we're able to really save people money, and
the world.
I mean, and you might ask, like, oh yeah, well, where has this been? Well, I think it's been like Gigi was saying, like kind of, he's been in the industry for 10 years, and a lot has changed, right?
Yeah.
I mean the panels, and the tech has just gotten so much more efficient. The that was number one. The ability, to install them and put them in has gotten way more efficient. Also, the financing for them has come around quite a bit. And then the big one was just what we call as net metering. So, and I know a lot of people don't quite understand that, but it's essentially like a credit debit system. So when you're making electricity from your solar, it's going back into the grid. You're feeding the grid. So during the day, you're building up credits. and then at night you use up those credits. In the summer you build up more credits, in the winter you use them up. So they just they have some really slick software, and that's another thing too. Satellite technology makes this possible as well, because we'll look at homes from their from top down, like where you're positioned, where the sun is, how it's tracking, what your shade is, and it's just all engineers figure all this out, where okay, here's going to be your panel positions, here's going to be your most efficient, here's going to make that grid for you, and do what we call is a net meter. Okay, so that's kind of the basics of how it works.
Even if I think back like 3 years ago, 4 years ago, there's been solar panels around, and you drive around neighborhoods and you see them here and there, but it really wasn't like talked about. And they talk about global warming, and they've been talking about that forever, and you can fluff that off. However, it is in Texas like 180 degrees, and our electric bills are skyrocketing. And so you do kind of, if have a brain, you have to start paying attention to things like, hold on a second, we did lose electricity, and they do keep threatening this with, you're, I believe, going to get set a certain amount of electricity that you're going to get, and certain times you can use it and certain times you cannot. And when you look at that, like, you're going to lose control of electricity. Like, really, that controls my air conditioning, that controls when I blow dry my hair. Are you kidding me? Like, this is kind of important stuff. But then when you look at the cost of living too, it's like, good Lord, like, you and I, thankfully, we can go hustle more and make more money. We always will, and we'll never stop doing that. But there are people not like us that are on salary jobs or wage earners, and they can't go make more money. They're in a position where they're not even able to hardly pay their bills now, never mind a triple electric bill. So when you look at that, I'm like, okay, we got to do something about this. And then when you go to the flip side, then when you really start paying attention to it and you look around, there's like, solar panels are popping up everywhere.
Yeah,
it's crazy. So there's something to that. People aren't just doing it on a whim.
They're not. I mean, the math completely makes sense.
Yeah,
and it's for a lot of those reasons. And I think the bigger thing that a lot of people fail to realize, and Gigi had mentioned this too, just think back, like, I don't know, when any of us started paying an electric bill. Wouldn't it be great to go back to that day? I mean, just think about it in really simple terms for your own life. What was your first electric bill like?
Right.
Like, I don't know, I think like $30 for me or something, $40,
Sure.
something like that. Well, how about you have that for the rest of your life, and lock that in? What if you were still paying that today?
Yeah.
I mean, and it sounds really, really crazy, but that's really what it is, because these are not leased systems. These are owned systems. So you're owning the system. And this is where it gets into the real estate side of things, because there's cost of ownership, but there's also big payoffs for value. So how does that work? Well, just look at it in terms of a mortgage. So what happens? So right now we're experiencing higher interest rates, right? So what does that mean? Why does anybody care? Well, I mean, what does it matter, right? Well, because the buying power, what happens? It goes down, right? Like, higher interest rate means that, buyer A cannot, pay the same, from a monthly rate standpoint that they used to be able to, the day before the rate goes up, right? That's just, basic economic principle. What does that eventually do? It will eventually bring down home prices, if that continues, and the demand goes down on top of it. So it has to do with affordability index and demand. Okay. So there, and it's proven too, when you see it, the number one, or the only place that has had reduction in home prices today so far, San Francisco. Well, interesting. They're also the highest peaked too.
Yeah.
So stands to reason, right?
Yeah.
And when we look back, 10, 12 years ago, last recession, some of your places that were what we call flatline in value, they didn't really go up that much, during the big spike, and and they didn't really go down that much. They kind of stayed the same. Well, you look at places like Vegas and places in Florida and things like that during the last big spike, they're also the hardest hit, right? So so why is that? So look at that, right? So when you're comparing that to electric and solar, and how does that move the needle as far as value goes on your house, is quite simple. I mean, you look at it just in terms of a regular mortgage. That's how I do. All right. So let's just say, and I did a little calculation here, right?
Good.
So at let's say a high interest rate, okay, 6.6%, okay, 30-year fixed, $40,000 loan, okay. Let's just go with me on this. So $40,000 loan, $257 payment.
Okay.
Why did I pick that? Because it's kind of an average bill for a lot of folks, mid 200s.
Sure.
I know you're at 800 plus, Trish, but it's like that's a hurting one.
Oh heck yeah! I opened it to comment.
but a lot of people, they're paying, $200, $300, $400,
Yes.
Somewhere in that range, right?
Yeah.
Also, so this is why we say, so let's put that in perspective, shall we? So 5% is what we'll say is an increase for putting solar to one's home in value on a $500,000 home. Again, pretty, big, kind of across the board value for a lot of places. 5% is 25 G's. Okay. That's so 5% is very, very conservative, in my opinion, in a lot of cases, because if you think about it, your buying power, house A, $250 a month electric bill, house B, because remember, they're buying it with the solar system.
Yeah.
Okay. House B, it's $250 a month, no bill.
Yeah.
like ever. So how much is that worth? Well, probably about what the delta on their mortgage payment,
For sure.
somewhere in that range.
That, and it's fixed like forever. And I think that's what people don't get. It's like, just like you just said, like, don't you wish you could go back where you paid, electricity, what you did when you first started? And think about gas too. Like, remember when gas was super cheap? It's like that stuff keeps climbing. And once they get to the new average status quo, it doesn't just all of a sudden drop back to where it was 20 years ago. It doesn't ever. So this is an opportunity for people to actually know, what is my electric going to cost every month? Period.
Yeah, this period.
That's it. No,
plus, we didn't even get into the incentive programs and whatnot, which are kind of varied state by state. I mean, there's some states like Illinois, for instance, that'll give you the entire, they call it an SREX, the entire state incentive, all on a check, all at once. I mean, I've had clients that literally, like, will get solar with no down payment. A lot of people think, oh, you got to pay a lot of. No, there's no money to get in. Okay. Number one, a lot of times, depending on the current incentives that our company is running, we will give a year of no payments, right? No payments at all. And you get a check, for the state and federal too. Depending on your taxes and your income level and whatnot, that's a little variable, but that's calculated into the proposal, and we'll show that to you. And it just makes all kinds of sense.
Well, and also, Harley, I think people have got to be like wondering, okay, well, how much money can you actually earn if you're selling solar panels? And y'all, first of all, it's not like something you go get a salary. You're not. It's a commission-based income, just like it is in real estate. However, like, commission checks on a solar panel range anywhere from 5 to, I saw a job for $20,000. It was the commission check, a $20,000 commission check.
Yep.
Wouldn't you mind making those? How about that? That's a no-brainer.
Yeah, it's a no-brainer, and that's kind of, that's the reason why I decided to go with Power, and I know you did too, just because it's very, very, very similar model to EXP. When you think about EXP, think about the disruptors in the industry like Uber. So pre EXP, pre-Power, was there solar around and all that? Yes. And they're usually local installers that will do this or that with you, and that's fine and great and everything. Just like Uber, when you would, or just like, pre-Uber, you would call the taxi. There's a local person, local companies that would do that. Well, now Uber opened it up to, like, kind of anybody that had a car, can get into this thing and use it. And they have got a platform. Well,
Yeah.
that's what we equate like EXP and power to, and that's why it's a really good idea to get into it. Look at Uber's valuation, in the billions, right? So same with EXP, same with Power, where they're going. They're now currently pre-IPO status. There's 5 ways to make money in Power now. Not only do you get paid, from a salesperson's perspective, you get paid commission, on it, and that's great, and that's all in the sale. And yes, you do honestly get paid, yes, and you get paid from mentoring other people too, and on their sales, you get paid from revenue share as well. There's ways that that you get paid on that, and you get paid stock options, and then as well, which those are going to be really valuable, because I knew people personally in EXP, rewind the tape, several years ago, before they hit the NASDAQ and went public, they had all these stock options, and instantly became super rich. So that's a great one to do. And then the 5th one is when you make money on financing too. So now that's opened up to us as well. So a lot of opportunities for the salesperson, in this company. And like we're saying, like if you're in real estate in kind of any capacity, it just makes complete sense, to do this.
You're talking to homeowners every day.
Yeah, you're talking to homeowners every day. Average sale, like if you're just looked at one stream, just one, just from a direct sales standpoint, that the average commissions are around $7,000. And understand, you can pick your commission on this platform too. It's a variable commission rate, so you can be very, very competitive. And I think that the company is already, just because of the buying power. That they've done 10,000 installs, and they've got tons and tons of inventory. And the best rates on installers, so they're able to just do it from a volume standpoint. So stacking against the local guys out there, we find that our proposals are actually less anyways. That being said, average commission for a salesperson is around $7,000. Think about how many sales you could do just with that, right? And it's pretty mind blowing. Not to mention too, and I do want to stress this, because a lot of for me was the reluctance of getting into it was just, I guess, the lack of understanding, but just also thinking it was going to be a big distraction, because I'm pretty focused on real estate and what I'm doing, and and I'm really serious about it. I didn't want it to be a distraction, but once I found out that it was just what we call as a cross sale, a cross sale in the industry, and just something that you're already doing. Also, I think as agents, we're so used to like transactions being, they can be very, very involved, on the real estate side, so much going on with them, and so labor intensive. With a solar, it's a very direct sale. Their back end is very, very good, and you really are just making the introductions and doing a proposal, showing the prospective homeowners what it's about, and then it just takes care of itself from there. So it's a very simple thing to do.
Well, and we all, of course, need to make more money in this world as the cost of living continues to increase. And for us in real estate, who we are all on commission-based income for the most part, this is just a way for you to squeeze everything out of that lemon. You're talking to a homeowner, you're selling them a house. They're probably going to be in that house for 7 to 9 years. That's the average right now. So naturally, the next conversation would be, why don't we go ahead and get a solar panel quote for you in your new house? It's a no-brainer.
It's a no-brainer. Yeah, it's very simple. And the proposals, by the way, and I didn't know this, just not being a solar guy, but I guess for people that have been in the industry a while, they're pretty used to this. Doing a solar quote into the level that Power has, which, by the way, is really, really, really simple. All you got to do is have an electric bill, and you upload that and a few bits of information, and there's people on the back end that will do it all for you and put it all together for you. Those usually cost quite a bit of money per one. And in Power, that they don't charge for that.
No.
It's not a fee for that. So I mean, I think just as from a business person perspective and a salesperson, I mean that that you're already ahead of the game with that too.
And I think, like you said, anytime we can get involved in something that's innovative, it's cutting edge, it's up and coming, we'd be crazy not to. We're business owners.
Yeah. You really owe it to yourself to build that. Just like I believe in building, the rev share in EXP, same thing.
Yep.
It's and I really truly believe that the today's entrepreneur is has these types of platforms in their arsenal, and that they're doing that, and that they're building out teams. Some of the biggest wealth that I've seen created over the last decade has been through these types of systems, namely EXP, and how they work.
Crazy. And real estate too, because again, there is no ceiling on our income. We can grow, and no one tells us to get up every day. We do it because we love it and we want to change the world, period. This is just another opportunity.
Yeah, another opportunity, for it. It's also, it's kind of nice to be able to do it. You can do it, personally too. You can go door to door and whatnot, whatever your style is. Personally, I do it virtually, which is completely possible. They've had a lot of tech that was that came out with it too, to be able to do even the site. They call it a site survey of the roof virtually. The presentation's all virtual. If you're smiling and dialing like me, and out prospecting and talking to people all the time. I mean, and you'd be surprised. I mean, you just mention solar to people, and of course they're interested because they want to do it. And and if you're interested in building teams and what we call teams, and have people that you're sponsoring, there's a lot of opportunity for that too, just with your affiliates. I mean, think about all the roofers that
Oh my
right?
God, yes, yeah.
I mean, things like that. Those are great contacts, to introduce them to the idea of it, where they can start adding that to their businesses as well.
I think it's super awesome. I think anybody that's looking to do something in this world, make more money and change the world and make it a better place, we would be irresponsible not to get involved in it. So I'm super thankful. You guys, I wouldn't know about it if it wasn't for Harley. And Harley and I just happened to be in one of our friends' house in Florida, of all places.
Yeah.
We talked about it, and it came up in conversation. And then I looked around Florida while we were there in this community, and in almost every house had solar. And I was like,
yeah,
oh my gosh, this is crazy.
I saw that. I know. It really is. You don't have to look far.
No.
Also too, just by the way, I mean, so my mom is in this too, right? She works with this, AKA Solar Mom. That's her handle. Solar Mom. I love her. She's
Awesome.
great. And she's in Texas. Okay. She's in very, very southern tip. She's in Mission, Texas. Actually, Mission is where they manufacture a lot of the panels too.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And she got solar on her house and a roof. Okay, so check this out. You can and this is for salespeople or for consumer, whoever. But like Gigi was saying, if the roof is on its last legs or it needs to be replaced, that's the time to do it. Well, guess what? Same financing, which is amazing, by the way.
Yeah.
If one needs a roof and solar panels, we can combine it all in one.
Yep.
And that's what she did. And she got a roof, and she got her panels all taken care of, all in one swoop. And fiscally for her, it was one payment that was very, very low.
Yeah.
And mom's all set. She's set up now.
That's awesome. I love this. I'm excited to see what we are going to do with this. I'm excited to get the solar panels put on our property, and anyone that I know, I'm going to be talking to everybody about this. And of course, I'm going
Yeah.
to be talking to all real estate agents about this and lenders and everybody, because we talk to homeowners. We're like the perfect link to this. Makes total sense to me.
You know, and I just want to throw out that there's you know, because because this was just my biggest hang up for me personally on it, was like, man, I don't have time, it's time sink, it's just another
Yeah.
thing or whatever, right? Well, number one, so understand. So in real estate, we're not allowed to, like, give monetary incentives to non-licensed people, a lot, as realtors, we know this, non-realtors may not know that, but that's a big no-no for us in the industry.
Yeah.
In this one, we can legally do it. There's no problem with it. So number one, if you just want to refer somebody, you don't want to be involved at all, name, phone number, etc., $1,000, right? Number two, if you want to be in the thing, but you don't, and you want to, you feel like, hey, I can sell it and whatnot, but I don't really want to do it either,
Yeah.
you can do that.
Yep.
We there's mentors like Gigi and whatnot that'll just, they'll split the commission with you. They'll do 50-50 with you. You throw it over to the fence to them, they do it all, you just get the money, right?
Yeah.
So that, or you could do it fully yourself and, and collect all the commission. So just throwing it out there, there's several ways to skin the cat on it, if you think that, time is an issue for you.
And if you really see it, if you're like, holy crap, I do see this coming, I do see that this is definitely going to be the way that we go. Shoot, you'd be dumb not to get involved right now with us at this early stage of anything. That's when they make the most money.
That's
hey,
right.
Harley, where can they learn more info about this? How can they get in touch with you?
Well, you can you can always reach me, I guess, on my on my Facebook or LinkedIn or any social channel that I have, Harley Dufek. You can type it in, you find me.
Yep.
You can call me on my number, and get a hold of me there too. And I'll also call you, get a hold of me from that as well. So
yeah, for sure. Like, first of all, we're friends. Secondly, we have the same visions. We are all like-minded. That's one of the beauties about EXP, is that we are all like-minded. Most of us, at least the ones in our groups that we hang out with, we do believe we can change the world. We do believe we can change the real estate industry. We do believe we can help agents have better lives. And so this is just an extension of that. So I am excited. You guys make sure and tune in. If y'all want more info, I'm going to be posting stuff constantly. We'll be having events here at our event center. So just pay attention. You got to pay attention to who you're paying attention to and what you're paying attention to.
Right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Harley, thanks for being here today. You're awesome.
Yes, thank you. Thanks for having me, Trish.
Yeah, this is going to be good. You guys stay tuned for more info. We'll be back on again at another time. Have a great day, y'all.
Thanks.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.